So here we are, it's time for a brand new championship, and it is the big one. It is the big Lager Championship, or the Standard Lager Championship. I'm not sure which one to call it yet, but by the time you watch this, you'll know what I've decided to call it. And this is because it's going to be bigger than any of the championships. We've got 38 beers in it, but this is all the standard lagers, which is quite a broad spectrum, as you'll see from this championship as we go through it. It's all the lagers you get from the supermarket, really, that aren't cheap lagers and aren't particularly premium. So that's the way it's going to go. And as you'll see from this, there'll be some of the lagers that are in this are bordering on premium, and some of them are bordering on cheap. So it'll be interesting to see how everything does here. But this is basically to find the best lager you can get from a supermarket if you don't pay over the odds for it. Okay, so that's basically what this is going to be. And as I said, there's 38 beers in the championship, so there's no table to look at yet, although the table has been drawn and it's got 6 spaces in it, and those 6 spaces are going to be occupied by 6 of the 12 beers that are going in these preliminary rounds. So the beers that were chosen for these preliminary rounds were literally just done at random. So at random, an unlucky 12 had to fight for places in the main draw, and we're going to look at the unlucky 12 now. So here are the unlucky 12 that got drawn out and have to have an extra round in order to get in the championship. We've got the Galereux against the Corona, which is what you're going to see today. We've got Beck's against Rosa Blanca. Heineken will be up against San Marco. The Birra Moretti will be up against the Birra Bionda, which I'm not sure if they are similar kind of beers, supposed to be. Cruz Campo is going up against Morrison's Premium, and Desperados is going up against Estrella. So those beers are ones that are basically going to have an extra matchup to get into the main draw, and then we'll be able to look at the table and we'll get the main draw up and running when all these matchups have taken place. So there's going to be lots and lots of matchups for this one. There's going to be lots of beers to taste. So let's get cracking with the first one. So the first one is this one. As we saw before, we have got the Galereux. Now it might look like the beers are colder than they are because it's quite a hot, well, very hot day today. We've got the Galereux on my left hand side. We have got the Corona on the right hand side there. Corona, I think you can get it in cans, but it's more common in bottles, so I got a bottle of Corona. I'm going to try and go for the canned version wherever possible, but I'm not going around from supermarket to supermarket looking for cans of Corona. So there you go. But if I see cans of, like, for example, I think you can get Desperados in cans. So next time I think about home bargains, I'll get some cans of Desperados, just because it's keeping it all a bit more fair if everything's in cans and nothing's in bottles. But there you go. Galereux, it's 4.6% ABV. It is available in Lidl. This was 4 cans for £3.89, I think. So it would have been too dear. No, it would have been too dear actually. I was going to say too dear for the cheap lager championship. 4.6% ABV though, just outside the ABV range for the cheap lager championship, which is why I was right to disqualify 4.5% beers from it, because there's a lot of beers at the 4.6% level, and Galereux is one of them. Wasn't allowed in the cheap lager championship. It is here in the standard lager championship. And then we've got Corona. Corona's 4.5% ABV. Again, just kind of hovering over that cut-off that I had. But it was 4 bottles were £5.49 in Lidl. I could have got a big crate of 18 for £14, but I don't want to get 18 bottles of it. And if this gets knocked out now in the preliminaries, I would have 17 bottles left to drink, which I don't really want. So I thought I'll pay the extra and get 4 bottles for £5.49. So again, this was too dear really for the cheap lager championship, and 4.5% on that edge in the ABV. So here they are. Well, it's not the last lager championship I'm going to do, but it is the main lager championship now that I'm going to do. Let's stop waffling. Let's get these poured out into glasses and let's get underway. Okay, beers poured, and they both poured with a bit of a head, but they have dissipated quite a bit now. This one, I think one of them had a bigger head than the other. I can't remember which one it was now. I think this one had a bigger head than this one, but anyway, that's by the by really. Let's show you which one is which for this now. So this is which one is which. Okay, that was which one was which, and now we're going to have a little look. We're going to have a little look at these beers and see how they compare and how they look. So this one, I can't see any bubbles rising up through that one, but this one I can see some bubbles, quite a few bubbles rising up. Okay, they are a similar colour, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the Galereux to be a darker colour than the Corona, so that's interesting. But yeah, this one's giving me significantly more bubbles rising to the top. And what can I say? They are very similar colour, quite pale straw colour on both of them. And yeah, let's start getting a nose. So I'm going to nose this one and see what it smells like. So quite malty, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of grass. Smells nice. Smells decent. A little bit of, possibly a little bit of off, bit of mouldiness in the background, possibly. But I don't know whether that's just a rustic maltiness, a little bit of tangerine, a little bit of orange in the smell there. I'll know more when I taste it, whether that's actually supposed to be there or whether it's not. Yeah, it smells quite a strong, malty, slightly orangey taste there with a bit of grass. Let's have a go on this one now. Not got much of a smell on this one at all. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of lemon. Teeny bit of light malt wafers maybe. And not a huge amount else. Possibly, dare I say, a little bit of skunkiness, I don't know. Well, there's a bit there, it's a little bit creamy. Anyway, I am absolutely parched. I can't wait to start drinking these, so I should like these because I'm really thirsty. So I should be able to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we'll start with this one. So here we go. Cheers. So, there's a little bit of bitterness there. A bit of a lack of carbonation, I think. Almost flat. I mean, it's better than it being overcarbonated. There's a little bit of carbonation there. But I'd say this is bordering on flat. There. Let's try a bit more. It's got a nice aftertaste. A little bit buttery in the aftertaste there. Quite clean on the taste. A little bit of apples in there. Not hugely malty. It's okay. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. Let's try the other one. Let's have a see. Let's have a taste this one. Oh, cheers. A bit drier. Much more carbonated. Possibly on the edge of being gassy. Very light in flavour. There's a little bit of kind of waferiness on the aftertaste to offset that bitterness, but not much in the line of flavour. Not massively impressed by either of these two, to be honest. This one's definitely got more flavour. Not a massive fan of the fact it's a little bit flat. This one's a bit sweeter, a bit more bubbly in the taste, in the mouthfeel, but it's Well, a lot more bubbly. But there's very little flavour in there. Very little flavour. Yeah. Whereas that one does have a little bit of maltiness, a little bit of brown bread, a little bit of that tangerine, that little orange taste. And I say got a little bit of apple in there as well. It's nothing dirty about the taste. It's nice and clean. Fat. The more I'm drinking it, the more I'm liking it. Could have a bit more of an aftertaste to it. Although there is a bit of a bready aftertaste to that. It's a bit more of like a brown bread aftertaste. It's not a buttery, shortbready kind of aftertaste that I get on some beers. And it's more interesting. That's way more interesting than that. I just would like a little bit more bubbliness in the mouthfeel. But there is carbonation there. There's definitely head there. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. It's really smooth. It goes down a treat, lovely and velvety. This one. The only good thing about this is the aftertaste. It's got a nice. I did have. There wasn't it there. On one of the drinks of this, I had a bit of a nice shortbready aftertaste there, but now there's a little bit there, very muted. This one got a nice bit of a brown bread aftertaste. It's a slightly different type of beer. This one is the one that's going to make it into the first round of the championship. I'm thinking this is the Galereux. Thinking this is the Corona. Let's find out. Let's find out. And come right back. Okay, that's it now. Yeah, I'm back. And yeah, so I was right with that. Now the thing is that so this was the Galereux. And this was the Corona, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about before I sign off officially. So yeah, I mean this is much better than this. So first of all, the flatness, addressing the flatness with this, I'm drinking it now and it's not flat. So I think what happened was when my wife poured them, this one poured with a really big head, so it's possible the pour might have been a little bit vigorous and knocked some of the carbonation out of it. That's all I can think. And then a lot of the carbonation came with the head. I scooped some of the head out, and basically that is what happened there, essentially. And that's why it was a bit flat, because now from the can it's much more vibrant, but it's not overly bubbly. So that's one point I'll make. So the Galereux, yeah, the Galereux is brilliant, slam dunk, and that flatness, it's not there. It's got a nice, decent lager taste, got a nice bit of bitterness. It's not quite my kind of aftertaste, but it's alright. I mean, the Galereux, I know it's a good beer. I think it's basically their version of Stella, so it'll be interesting if it ever comes up against Stella, but there you go. So that's the Galereux. Talking about the Corona, now something I wasn't going to mention, because I didn't want people then saying, well, you should have got it in a can then, shouldn't you? When I opened it, I got a massive skunky smell from it, which is weird, because it's not in a green bottle. And it's just there in the smell. There is just a lot of skunk on the smell. And the thing is, when I came back into the room after finding out what the beers were, the skunky smell in the room was overwhelming. It's a good job my wife's not coming, because she wondered what I was doing in here, to be honest. Because it absolutely stunk of that skunky smell in the whole room. So it infected the whole room, really. And now the thing is, I didn't mention that. I didn't try to let that cloud my judgment, because sometimes you get a bottle of Czech brewed Staropram and you can get a bit of a skunky smell off it, but it doesn't affect the taste. The taste is still great. And sometimes it adds to the character, but this is like, the taste is just not there. It's just flavourless, pretty much, which I kind of figured it would be. I mean, it's not as flavourless as some beers. And there is a bit of bitterness there. Would this have more? It's not got a huge amount more flavour than a lot of the beers in the cheap lager championship. Really, it is pretty much flavourless. This is not flavourless. This has got some flavour to it. So I didn't want to mention the skunky smell at first, because I didn't want people saying, well, get it in cans and see what it's like there. Because I did say I want to do like with like, but again, I didn't let the skunky smell cloud my judgment. But what can I say? Yeah, not good. really at all, and it's a good job I don't have to buy four bottles of that £5.49 anymore. This one, we'll see how far this goes. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it's going to stick itself in the drawer. And what I might do actually, I might in the next matchup, I might show the table with the spaces in it, and then we can see what spaces these things are going to fill. So the Galereux, I'm not sure. Actually, I've got my laptop over here. I'm just going to have a look and can tell you what the Galereux is going to be up against. The Galereux is going to take the first spot in the table, and in fact, what I'll do actually, I'm going to put the table up for you now. So here's the table with the spaces. They're marked by X's, and as you can see, the Galereux is going to be up against Madry next. So yeah, I'll go through this table. Why not? So Holstein Pils and Saint Etienne are going to be the first matchup. Kronenbourg, Carlsberg Export. Then this is going to be up against the Madry. Cobra against the 1897. Red Stripe is going to be up against whatever wins the next one. Then we've got Grande and San Martinez. We've got Stella Artois against the Brooklyn Pilsner. And then whatever wins the third bout is going to be up against the Perlenbacher. Then we've got Rossini and Budweiser, Peroni and Steinhauser. Then the Champagne Noyels is going to be up against whatever wins the fourth preliminary matchup. As the Premium against Rheinbacher. Sol is going to be up against the winner of the fifth matchup. And then Biramapelli against Mahou. Feldschlossen against Angelo Peretti. And then finally, the Sabor is going to be up against whatever wins the last of the preliminaries. So there you go. That's a bit of an idea of what we're up against. Now I can talk about that when something gets through preliminary. I can say what it's going to be up against next, which is always good, isn't it? So there we go. Yeah, Corona, not a great beer, not a good beer, and it's not even a cheap beer either. You can get much better for much cheaper. Let's just leave it at that, okay? And even when you're getting things like offers like in Lidl at the moment, at time of recording, you can get 18 bottles for $14.99 or something. It's still not worth it. It's just not good, as far as I'm concerned. If you like a pretty flavourless lager with a bit of lime in it, and I think that's the way it's served, it have a little lime on the edge and stuff, then yeah, possibly it's very inoffensive. It's beer for people who don't like beer. Should I say that, or is that too controversial? Well, I said it now. So there you go. Corona, beer for people who don't like beer, and Galereux, beer for people who do like beer, but not maybe amazing beer. So there you go. That's all I'm going to talk about now. I'm still getting that skunky waft of this. So I'm going to sign out now. But I'll be drinking the rest of these though. I'm certainly not going to sink pour them. It's not that bad. So there we go. Until next time, have a good one.